Hey everyone, Emily here and welcome to my kitchen. It's been a little while since I've made a pasta dish on this channel and those are some of my favorite things to make. So I thought I would put together something that I make pretty frequently. That's a roasted vegetable pasta. Now this is a great way to use up vegetables that you have hanging out in the fridge and really need to use up. Today I'm going to be using a yellow squash along with a few other things I picked up at the grocery store. This is a really good recipe to make substitutions in depending on what you prefer or what you just have hanging out in the fridge. I'll show you how to make this. Let's get started. I'm going to start out by preparing my vegetables so that they are all roasted by the time I'm getting to cooking the pasta. So these are all washed. You can use whatever vegetables you prefer. I'm going to be using a yellow squash, some green bell pepper, and some carrots, and this is going to go really well together. With the squash, I am going to go in and remove the seeds. It is going to be a little bit of a mushier texture if you choose to leave them in. You can, that's totally up to you. This is just how I prefer it. Once I've removed the seeds, since these are on the larger side, I'll just cut them in half and then cut these into strips. Once I finish slicing up each vegetable, I'm just going to go ahead and pop them into the air fryer. To save some time, I'm roasting these in the air fryer, but you could definitely put them right onto a sheet pan and roast these in the oven instead. A handful of rainbow carrots here. Since these are on the smaller side, I'm just going to slice these in half before tossing them right into the air fryer. This one's a little on the larger side, so I'll cut it into quarters. And I prefer to roast these in strips. I think it just comes out a little bit better with the pasta. If you're using a shorter pasta, you can definitely cut them into chunks instead. And lastly, I am going to cut up my bell pepper. You can just use whatever vegetables you have on hand or whatever you prefer. I've done this with Brussels sprouts, broccoli, leftover onion, whatever you have hanging around the refrigerator. It's really going to go well with this pasta. Can't really mess it up. I have all my vegetables here in the air fryer basket, so now I'm just going to season them up. I'll give it a good drizzle of olive oil, some pepper, salt, and a little bit of smoked paprika. I'll just give these a toss to evenly coat everything. And you can do this on a sheet pan if you prefer. And then once I have all my vegetables coated evenly in the olive oil and seasonings, I'm just going to pop this right into the air fryer. I'll roast this at 370 and do 15 minutes. And about halfway through, I'll just toss the vegetables around since I have quite a few in the basket. Now we're gonna move on to our pasta while these cook. I have a big pot of salted water boiling on the stove, and I'm gonna add in a ½ pound of pasta. I'm just using these little pasta bundles. They are just about the same size as fettuccine, and I'll just toss in a ½ pound and let these cook until they are al dente. So when they have just a few minutes left on them, that's when you wanna pull them out. While the pasta cooks on the stove, I'm going to zest a lemon and grate up my Parmesan cheese, and this is going to be going into the sauce a little bit later on. Now I've washed my lemon really well, and I'm just going to zest off the outside portion where it's yellow colored. Once you get down to that white pith, you want to stop. The yellow part has all the flavor, and if you zest into the white rind, that's what's going to kind of give a bit of a bitter taste to it. So just stick to the outside. I'll set aside that lemon zest and then cut my lemon in half. I'm going to be using the juice later as well. Now I'll move on to my Parmesan cheese and grate about a ½ cup, and that'll be enough for the sauce. My vegetables have been roasting for about 7 minutes, so at this point I'm going to pull them out and toss them a little bit so that they can continue to brown on all sides. These are starting to look really good and they're smelling amazing as well. These are about halfway done, and by the time these vegetables are done, our pasta will be ready to drain. I just took my pasta off of the stove, and before I drain it, I'm going to reserve a little bit of that pasta water. This is going to go into our sauce later on. You'll need about a half a cup. Now that I have that, I'm going to go ahead and drain my pasta, and my vegetables will be just about ready to come out of the air fryer. These vegetables have finished roasting in the air fryer and they are ready for our pasta, so let's head over to the stove and put this together. I have a pan heating up over medium-high heat. I'm going to give this a drizzle of olive oil, and I'll pop in 1 or 2 cloves of minced garlic. These are little frozen cubes that I buy at the grocery store, and they just save so much time chopping garlic. And I'll add in just a little bit of butter as well. Once the garlic has had some time to cook, I'm going to add in our pasta and that reserved pasta water. And I'll just toss this together to coat it. At this point, I'll also add in the juice of that lemon and most of the Parmesan cheese. I'll save a little for the top, and that lemon zest is going to go in later as well. I'll toss this well to combine, and this is going to create the base for the sauce. You can see it's really coating the pasta pretty nicely here. Once I've combined everything for the sauce, I'm going to add in my vegetables. Now these are already cooked, so they didn't need some extra time on the stove. I'll add in my lemon zest at this point, and some chili flakes because I do like it to be just a little spicy. And I'll toss this all around. That looks fantastic. And now I'll just finish that up with my remaining Parmesan cheese. This smells amazing, so let's give this a try and see how it turned out. A little bit of squash in here, a little bit of pasta. So good. This recipe is always one of my favorites. It's so easy to put together, and the sauce comes out amazing every single time. It's so bright and fresh with the lemon zest, and it really goes good with whatever vegetables you might have hanging out in the fridge. So this is a really easy one to kind of customize and make different every single time. I hope you try it, and I hope you like it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell icon so you can get notified every time I post. As always, you can find the full recipe to this in the description box down below. And if you try this recipe out, let me know how you like it in the comment section down below, or leave a suggestion for the next recipe that I should try. Hope to see you back here next time.